Call halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Yahweh Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for pushing 100% truth who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom. Yep, this is Matazal Lacham. And I just, I was, scrolling through TikTok yesterday at work. And I ran across this thing where they're talking about they have incinerators in these FEMA camps now. They have incinerators. I'm like, wow, these people, they just don't get it. They just ain't going to stop, right? And then, I don't know, we all know that they've got guillotines. They got guillotines in these detention centers and FEMA camps. I think they have anywhere between 800 to 1,000 guillotines in FEMA camps across the United States. Okay, located in I think it was 30,000. 15,000 of them are located in Montana. The other are located in Georgia. And since there's 50 states, divide 30,000 divided by 50, that's 600 guillotines per state. 5 times 6 is 30, right? So, they have 600 guillotines per state. That means when they implement martial law, and they're going to implement martial law, they have no choice. I mean, if they're going to go to war, okay, that means under the Insurrection Act or under martial law during times of civil unrest and national emergency, through the declaration or proclamation of a presidential pen and the attorney general of the United States, okay, and everybody's paid off, through IPAC, which is the Israeli lobby. They own the United States government. You might as well say it's the divided states of Israel, okay? And, the people are being riled up, and now they're threatening to shut down, which they've been doing this for about 2 years, but now it's getting down the wire. And they're talking about they want to, shut off the power. You see? That's ridiculous, but that's what they're going to do. But this is what they're doing in the FEMA camps, these concentration and detention facilities across the United States. They're opening up old warehouses and putting these, so-called illegal immigrants that ICE is picking up and they're putting them there. Some place by the name of Oakview, Tennessee, or Oakview, Kentucky. They've got a lot of people are complaining and bitching that they've decided to open up a FEMA camp there as well. I think it's in Oakview, Georgia, or Tennessee, Kentucky, somewhere down south. Right? Did you know the U.S. Navy has entered in negotiations of $55 billion additional dollars for immigration detention centers to be built, including ominously the ability to dispose of human biohazard material, which they cite the need for incinerators. Human biohazard material. So, with the 30,000 guillotines, once they cut your head off, they scoop out your internal organs for the greater good, right? And after they get through doing that, they just make your body compost to throw it into these incinerators. Now, I was watching this other video yesterday on TikTok about what they plan to do as far as my damn telephone's ringing, but what they plan to do, which really blows my mind. That's what they plan to do with with what's left of the human body. Okay, and just after they throw your head over here in this incinerator, it usually takes 3 to 4 hours for one body to be incinerated and turned to ashes. Where they do it at the funeral homes. Within 2 to 3 hours, the heat has to be continuous between 1430 and 1600 degrees Fahrenheit in order to turn your body into ashes, where they can put you in an urn. Okay, and they can do this 10,000 people a day. right? They've got a FEMA camp in Kansas City that can hold 50,000 people. So, in the space of 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in the space of a week, they can get rid of anywhere between, 5,000 to 10,000 people a week. You got 50,000 people coming into this FEMA camp. So, across the United States, wow, it's going to get bad. Okay? Anyway. Yeah, it's crazy, but that's what they plan on doing.
Somebody please tell me, what do detention centers and incinerators have in common? Here in America.
There will be a time, and it may not be too far in the future, when people look back and they wonder how in the United States this has been allowed to happen, that this has happened, that the United States military did this. Through the Navy, the Department of Homeland Security is purchasing a lot of incinerators for human remains. And they will be constructed at detention centers across this nation. I'm serious. This is happening. I'm including a link. Watch the link.
ICE is buying incinerators, and now we have proof. A Navy contract was just released showing the Navy is managing the construction of a massive network of immigration detention centers across the nation. And what's included in the contract is extremely disturbing. It describes tent cities that can hold 10,000 people each, with a specific provision for biohazard incinerators under the medical and death section. That means they are specifically planning for death and choosing to burn the evidence right there on site. The reason DHS is paying the Navy $55 billion for this is so they can get this nationwide network of giant detention centers with infrastructure for handling death built as quickly as possible. And they tried to do it quietly by updating the Navy's existing contract to make this deal instead of creating a new contract specifically for this. Here are my sources if you want more information. ICE is buying incinerators, and now we have proof. ICE is buying incinerators, and now we have proof. A Navy contract was just released showing the Navy is managing the construction of a massive network of immigration detention centers across the nation. And what's included in the contract is extremely disturbing. It describes tent cities that can hold 10,000 people each, with a specific provision for biohazard incinerators under the medical and death section. That means they are specifically planning for death, and ICE is buying incinerators. ICE is buying. If your last name is on this list, TikTok is trying to hire you. Here's a...
You guys want to know more about the incinerators that they're purchasing for the camps? Okay. I did a video on this yesterday, kind of before bed. I thought more people kind of knew about this, but apparently people were pretty shocked to find out that they're buying incinerators, that they're trying to install these in camps. So I got this information. I know a lot of people were asking me for my sources on it. I got this main story from a guy named Kyle Kalinsky.
A bunch of former warehouses that they're retrofitting to become ICE concentration camps. Okay? I believe the number we came across in the articles we read, it was 23 different former warehouses that are becoming concentration.
Looks like he got his information from a source called Migra Insider.
Insider has this new article out, and Pablo reports, the Twitter account, he does phenomenal work on this. It's his reporting by which they're basically increasing the funding massively. So they have this colossal budget to build out these like ghost concentration camps around the country. Now this should scare everybody to fucking death. This regime sent people to CCOT in El Salvador. Well, guess what? There's detailed reporting. People were raped and tortured there. They were raped and tortured. They were so desperate, they cut their hands, were bleeding, and would write messages into their on their sheets with the blood from their hand. This is a nightmare. This is an absolute nightmare, what we're talking about. Not only that, they also had alligator Alcatraz, which many people, I think, were correctly calling alligator Auschwitz. Now, I believe that was eventually shut down by the courts. But it was, this big...
No, I actually want to take a second and try to fact check.
So this is the rabbit hole that I went down tonight about medical waste management and ICE detention facilities that are being built. So there's over 20 plus detention centers that can hold thousands of people being built across the United States. Here's reporting of some of the things that are being built in these detention centers. Incinerators are being requested to be built in order to deal with medical waste management or biohazard materials at these ICE detention facilities.
Okay. So, like I said before, because it's going to go on and on and on and on and on. Okay. I was doing some light reading last night, but yeah. Revelation chapter 2, right? Verse 9. Let's start there. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. Blasphemy? Why is it blasphemy? Let's go find out. Blasphemy, what is that?
Strong's G 988, blasphemia. Blasphemia.
Right? Slander, detraction, speech injurious to another's good name, impious and reproachful. Okay? Let's get all these definitions right. Okay, Salakia, let me pause this video right quick. Salakia for that. Okay, let's go get, well, we know what slander is. Okay, let's go see, what is that, web search, detraction. Let's see what that is, and then we'll go back. Chrome, DuckDuckDo. Don't matter. Google. Yeah, that's fine. Detraction. The act of detracting or taking away a derogatory or damaging comment on a person's character or reputation. Disparagement. Right. That's basically what they've, yep, that's exactly what they've done. Blasphemy. Okay, define. Impious. Impious is an adjective describing a lack of reverence, respect, or piety towards the Most High, religion, or sacred things. It signifies an irreligious, profane, or wicked attitude. Wow, shit, that's Esau Edom in the fucking nutshell, ain't it? Them Amalekite Khazars. Hell, what you call him? What's his name? Benjamin Netanyahu was talking shit on Jeebus Crossed. Right? Common synonyms include sacrilegious, blasphemous, irreverent, ungodly, and sinful. Usage examples. Then it goes off into different synonyms, different words that mean the same thing. Right. Anyway. Railing, evil speaking, blasphemy, evil, again, especially vilification. Let's get vilification. Define vilification. Vilification is the act of uttering slanderous, abusive, or highly critical statements that defame a person or a group, damaging their reputation by making them appear wicked or worthless. Right? That's exactly what these devils are going to do to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the bishops and righteous men underneath them. They got everybody on a list for a specific time and date for pickup. So this way, once they start martial law, 2 weeks before they implement martial law, they got to come and get individuals that are outspoken talk show hosts and whatnot off the fucking streets. Right? And that's got to have already been signed into law by either the president or the attorney general of the United States. You see what I'm saying? It involves malicious attacks, often in public or in the media, aimed at creating intense contempt or hatred toward the target. Okay? And they try to say that we're being anti-Shemitic, which is impossible for us to be anti-Shemitic beings. We come from Shem as well. Okay? Ishmael comes from Shem. Edom comes from Shem. We come from Shem through Abraham, through the bloodline of Jacob, and the 12 tribes or 12 sons of Israel, the 12 sons of Jacob. Okay? Moab, the Chinese, are from the bloodline of Shem. Right? Right? Remember? The children of Lot, the nephew to Abraham. Right? I think it was Haran that had died, okay, which was Abraham's brother, right? Or uncle or something like that. And he died, right? And Abraham said he would take care of Lot. Okay? Lot lived in Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed by the Most High. The Most High God led him into a cave with his two daughters. They had consensual sex due to intoxication. Right? Boom. You got the Chinese and the Japanese born into the world by two different women. Okay? That simple. Down syndrome. That's the reason why they look like they got Down syndrome with the slant eyes and all of that old shit. Those are characteristics of Down syndrome, of incest. Okay? But that's beside the fact that they're Shemites. They're from the bloodline of Shem, of the three sons of Noah after the flood. So these Edomites calling people anti-Semitic is a goddamn lie. It's bullshit. It's a sham. It's vilification. The act of uttering slanderous, abusive, or highly critical statements that defame a person or a group, damaging their reputation by making them appear wicked or worthless. Okay? And everybody's pissed off about this anti-Semitic bullshit. Okay? Let's go over here right quick. See if I can go off into my receipts, and we'll go get proof that that word, anti-Semitic, was created in 1860 by these devils. Let's see if I can find it. There it is right there. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. Subversive-ish writer Mort Steinschneider invented the term anti-Semitic in 1860. The term is used to silence those that dare to expose ish crime. And vilification is an ish crime. Genocide is an ish crime. Same-sex marriage is an ish crime. Bestiality is an ish crime. And all of these are in violation of the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. That's the reason why King David around Mount Seir set up garrisons, police stations, military bases around Mount Seir to stop these bastards from spreading their evil and wickedness throughout his kingdom. Okay, these motherfuckers were born into slavery as soon as they came out of their mama's hole. Okay, that's all they're meant to do, is to be serfs. They were never meant to be in charge of anything. Okay? They were never meant to be ruler of anything. Okay? See, check this out. Edom in rulership. The elites know, do you? Khazars, the fake Jews, Idumean Caucasians, right? Right? Israelites in captivity. You have the southern tribe of the Negroes, clearly, right? Okay. Exiled from Israel in 70 AD, brought into captivity in the 1600s. Tribe of Judah, Negroes, which are the real Jews. Tribe of Benjamin, which are the Jamaicans, and the tribe of Levi, which are the Haitians, right? Boom. Okay, the southern Israelites. Israel in captivity. The equestrian statue of Theodore Roosevelt, right? Which goes in, that's the President Theodore Roosevelt, right? Northern Israelites, exiled from Israel in 320 BC, brought into captivity in the 1500s AD, right? And then it goes into the tribe of Ephraim, which are the Puerto Ricans, the tribe of Issachar, the Mexicans, the tribe of Gad, the Native Americans, the tribe of Simeon, the Dominican Republic, Salvadorian, Panama, Seminole Indians, the tribe of Reuben, the tribe of Manasseh, or the Cubans, right? And in Cuba, they got the power shut off, right? Tribe of Asher, Brazil and Venezuela, and the tribe of Naphtali, Chile, and Argentina. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and 6, folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place. I've seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth, right? Then it goes into Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord will bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it being Israel, your home, no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, meaning no man shall redeem you, okay, to save you out of the hand of your enemies. No one will be able to, redeem you back to the Most High God, right? You see how this statue fits that biblical prophecies? See? So, going back here to Revelation, right? Revelation 2 and 9, I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. Now, if you pay attention, this is in red letter, meaning that means that these are the words spoken out of the mouth of the Son of the Most High God, okay, in a vision that was given to John the Revelator, okay? Revelation simply means a revealing. Okay, let's go get it. I'll just go get it. Revelation definition. Boom. A revelation is the surprising and enlightening or sudden disclosure of facts that were previously hidden, unknown, or secret. It refers both to the act of making information known and the information itself. It often describes a profound, transformative experience such as a spiritual epiphany or sudden understanding of a complex problem. Okay? Right? Okay. Fear nothing that you are about to suffer. Beware. Be aware that the devil is about to throw some of you into prison. Satan is not going to throw you into prison. Satan has the living embodiment of satanic power on earth is through his avatar, which are these Edomite Caucasians. They own the prisons. They own the government. They own property tax. They own your property that you live in, rent, all of that shit. And they keep steadily rising all these prices to where you can't afford to live anymore. Can't afford. Goddamn. In the next 2 weeks, if they don't do something about these higher prices, hyperinflation is going to just spiral out of control. So like on a global scale, the cost of bread is going to be $12, $15 a loaf. Okay? That means the cost of red meat in a roll, okay, is going to be close to $100. Right? You go and buy you some steaks or whatever have you, that's going to be $75, $80. They're going to make it to where you can't afford to live, you can't afford to eat. Okay? What are you going to do? You're going to ride in the fucking streets, man, bitching. But who are you going to bitch at? They can't do anything about it either because they're suffering the same shit. Okay? Nothing you can do. Fear nothing that you are about to suffer. Be aware that the devil is about to throw some of you into prison that ye may be tested in your faith. And for 10 days you will have tribulation. Be faithful to the point of death, if you must die for your faith, and I will give you the crown consisting of life. You see? He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. Right? He who has an ear, let him hear and heed what the Spirit says to the churches. He who overcomes the world through believing that Yahweh Shai is the Son of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, will not be hurt by the second death, which is the lake of fire. In other words, you won't be left here and melted. Okay? Great fervent heat, remember? So, but yeah, it was just a little quick video. I wasn't trying to stay on here too long. All right. Revelation chapter 3. Okay. Verse 9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Right? Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Right? Take note. I will make some of those of the synagogue of Satan who say that they are the Jews and are not, but lie. I will make them come and bow down at your feet and make them know without any doubt that I have loved you, because you have kept the word of my endurance, my command to persevere. I will keep you safe from the hour of trial, that hour which is about to come on the inhabited world, to test those who live on earth. Okay? Now, this is in red letter. This is a command from the Son of God to persevere through what you are about to suffer. It's a command. He told you to. This is the only reason you were born into the earth was to persevere and suffer with patience and endure the hour of temptation. That was it. That's your whole job. You want to know the meaning of life? That's it. So this way you could receive eternal salvation from the Son of the Most High. You take their mark, RFID microchip, okay? Because the only way that you're going to get out of the FEMA camp is to take the chip. That's the only way out. Okay? Let's go get what the chip looks like. Boom, boom, boom. Okay? That's the only way out. This is the only way out. You take this microchip on to the left of your screen between your index finger and your thumb, or you take the Neuralink brain chip, okay? You're fucked. You're going to be left here and melted. You're going to suffer the pain of the lake of fire. The Most High is going to slow down time and space. Time and space are constructs. Thereby, they can be either created or destroyed. Okay? Because they're created things. They can be destroyed by the Creator or recreated in a new form. Time and space that's what they're for. It's a schoolhouse. It was a schoolroom, and the schoolmaster is the word of the Most High God. Okay, teach us, the Israelites, the discernment between what is good and what is evil. And I've had enough about what the fuck is evil. Don't you? Wouldn't you agree? I mean, man, you goddamn bottled what? 2/3 of the planet is made out of water. It's raining somewhere on the planet every single day. Every single minute of every day, somewhere on the planet, it's raining. Free water straight from out of the sky. These motherfuckers put it in a bottle that is a carcinogen in nature. Okay? A bottle with forever chemicals. Okay? On a microscopic level that line your internal organs and harden them from the inside out. When you drink bottled water, and when you drink water out of a bottle, these people have been slowly unaliving you for decades. That's the reason why people are dying at younger ages, 45, 50, 60. People didn't die till they was 80, 90 on a fucking average, 100 and 110 on an average. Now the average is 45? Come on, man. They're doing this shit deliberately on purpose. The living embodiment, the avatar of evil and wickedness and satanic power on earth are these Edomite Caucasian devils, man. They've been planning to kill your ass for years. Okay? And this is the only way that you're going to get out of that FEMA camp is to be a part of the cashless society and worship the image of the beast. The image is the infrastructure of cashless society. That's the image. They want you to worship. That means that you have to be a willing participant. If in order to get out of that FEMA camp, you have to be a willing participant to participate in the cashless society, meaning that you bow down, took the chip to worship the image of the beast. You're fucked. Bad idea. Okay? All right? So, I don't want to make this video too long. All right? More proof. Okay? This is what they want to put. This is all the things that it hooks up to. Right? Got your money, got your ID, got your medical records, okay, got your passport, all your credit, and they want to put all of that shit on this little bitty chip and put it in your body so you can't lose it. That way they can keep track of you. They know your whereabouts, what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing it, for whatever reason. They got your heartbeat. They damn near trying to go off into telepathy to find out what you're dreaming about. You know, I mean, these people, okay? These motherfuckers are pretending to be the Most High God on earth, but they're going to fail. Okay? Oh, that's a good one. I did not think of that. Let's go over here to Job. Give me that. Job chapter 20. Give me 22. Well, I'm going to start there. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And all of the hands of the wicked of the world, because all of these nations were complicit in making Israel be no more in remembrance, as is written in the book of Psalms chapter 83, right? So all of these nations are complicit with the Negroes, Latinos, which I just showed you a picture of who the Israelites truly are, okay, of no longer being the Israelites of the Holy Bible, but being slaves and serfs to them, when they're supposed to be the goddamn slaves and serfs to us. Now, we just read the biblical prophecy of princes walking as servants upon the earth, right? In Ecclesiastes 10 and 6. Okay? Now, Job chapter 20, And every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. They're coming upon this motherfucker right now, man, with these tariffs. Like I said before, let's go to Isaiah 33:1. I'll just do it again. Right? Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. So, Edomite Caucasian devil Donald Trump, Agent Orange, the orange cheese curl, this weirdo, pedophile, convicted felon, grapist, grapist. Okay, he's a convicted grapist, pedophile, a PDF file. Okay. Eating human flesh, drinking blood. Your president that you voted for this motherfucker, because I didn't vote for him. Okay. Okay. There he's dealing treacherously with the nations with these tariffs. So when all of the hands of the wicked come upon this motherfucker, which they're doing over here in the Middle East, 22 nations have decided to go around Donald Trump and his bullshit, and just to get him to agree to move away from Iran so this way the oil can move freely and the price of oil can drop. Okay? He's doing what the Rothschilds is telling him to do, man. See, I seen a video the other day. What was that video, man? Oh, let me see if I can find it right quick, man. I wasn't going to make this video too long. I wasn't trying to, but oh well, it happens. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Hold on. About that one lady, Catherine Austin Fitz. There it is. Boom.
A variety of people.
All right, check this out. This is what the plan is. If this video will allow me to make it, I don't know. Hold on, Salakia.
You go back to 9/11, and when Wesley Clark said we're gonna invade 7 countries in 5 years, what you were talking about were the countries where those central banks were not on board to do programmable money, and their governance structures were not on board with essentially, because of Epstein, I'll call it the Rockefeller Rothschild model. There was an effort to say, okay, we're going to basically assert control of the central banks in those countries. That's my interpretation. And I think one of the reasons we're seeing so much tension around Iran is because Iran right now is the big leakage in the system.
How?
So
it's not about their nukes?
No. Iran's central bank counts. One of the reasons it counts is because their oil and energy is very important, including for China.
Yeah.
And that's very important in the BRIC system. What the BRIC system is trying to do is to create independent payment systems. But if you're going to come out with programmable money, with digital IDs that are interoperable globally, and programmable money that controls in each jurisdiction centrally, you can't afford leakage. And so you've got way too much leakage in the system to proceed with what they're trying to do. And and the BRIC nations are a sticking point. And certainly Iran's oil, feeding China gives China greater independence.
So you think that one of the motives behind toppling all these governments was the creation of the control grid we're talking about now?
Right. So if you go back, you had the wonderful Richard Werner on your show.
Yep.
And Richard has a book called The Princes of Xi'an, which is about the sort of effort to take over the Japanese central bank. And I think what you're looking at, I think part of the state of play with both Russia and Iran is how are you going to make sure that those central banks are entirely in the system?
So, that was an amazing interview. And he told the story about writing this book on the Japanese central bank. I can't imagine a more obscure topic from my non-economically minded standpoint. It'd be like writing a book on postcards from the Falkland Islands. It's like, okay, a book on the Japanese central bank. And he said, well, actually, they suppressed it. I couldn't get it published in the United States, and you can't get a copy. And that's like checkable, so I checked it. You can't get a copy of that book. It's really hard.
I think you can order from his publisher right now.
Okay.
Right.
But, I mean, that Like, why would someone try to suppress
because
a book?
it shows you the truth. It takes you right into the secret governance system, and it shows you the primary mechanism by which they implement policy.
Yeah. Well, it's always the things you're not allowed to say are probably the important things, right? I mean, whenever they penalize you for having a thought, you're probably on the right track.
Well, it's one of the critical train tracks of control. So it's what I call the third rail. So I used to finance transit systems and train systems. So, a lot of these systems have two tracks that the wheels go on, and then they have a third rail that the power line runs on, and you get a train trap that flips over and sucks the energy from the third rail. So a lot of the things that really operate the third rail are very invisible. And for example, in central banking, to talk about tier 1 and tier 2 and tier 3 capital at the BIS and the banks, there's nothing more boring. It's designed to absolutely...
I just fell asleep in the middle of that sentence.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Is it boring by design?
The way you're taught to talk about it is boring by design. It's like the mechanisms of the legal system. If you look at the mechanisms of civil procedure or criminal procedure, it can, and you get into the weeds on it, it can be very boring unless you understand the application, and that can make it very interesting. But the capital, most people don't understand the capital's sort of regulatory system, and it can get very, very boring.
Can you just, for people who haven't seen your previous talk, explain what the control grid is, what it looks like, and what it means?
So the control grid is a process or an infrastructure that allows digital technology to be used to assert phenomenal surveillance and control of people.
Yeah.
And at the very heart of it is what I call programmable money. So it's money that is no longer just a currency. It's money that comes with a set of rules that can be surveilled and enforced. So imagine back in the pandemic, if your money, if I said, okay, you've got to lock down and your money won't work if you leave your house. You can't buy gas in your car because your money is programmed with AI and software to enforce a whole set of centralized rules. And programmable money allows the bankers who've been running monetary policy to now control fiscal policy and essentially replace legislatures and executive branch by making and enforcing the rules through the money. Now that requires a large infrastructure of surveillance. So you need digital IDs, and then you need the hardware locally and globally to do the surveillance and implementation. So for example, if you look at the local hardware, and now people are seeing it, now that it's material, they're beginning to see it snap into place. So I don't know if you know flock cameras, but there are many communities across the United States that are entering into contracts paid by the taxpayers to put up cameras all around their neighborhood that track license plates and keep that data and share it with a variety of people. Or you have the FCC is trying to overrule local controls on cell towers, so they can literally put cell towers every 400 to 700 feet so that they can have the kind of invasive surveillance you need. Or you have satellites now that can literally beam in Wi-Fi so that whether you have Wi-Fi in your home or not, they can start to track you. And all those systems put you in what I call the panopticon. So we saw in the Middle East with the first war with Iran, we saw 11 leaders out of 12 sort of top leaders in science and government assassinated because they're literally tracking everyone, and they can identify them and track them, and then you have invisible weaponry that can then take them out, or can identify missile strikes. So
let me ask you, so you're talking about the 12-day war against Iran in June of 2025.
Correct.
We were led to believe, just as newspaper readers or news consumers, that those 11 Iranian officials were targeted with human intelligence. That Israel had spies inside of Iran, but you're saying that was done digitally.
I would assume that that's probably true, because you always want to get human confirmation of what the systems are telling you. It's always better if you have both. But we are now moving into building out the kind of surveillance systems that can literally track, identify, and integrate with not only our existing weaponry, but ultimately autonomous weaponry. So anyway, so let me step back. You've got three parts to the control grid. One is the local hardware and infrastructure, and that includes the data centers. Because if you...
The data, I thought those were for AI.
They are. Because if you look at what it takes to apply the equivalent of a social credit system to people's money, so the social credit system I apply to you is different than the one I apply to me. And if you look at the data I need to track you and test whether or not you're following the rules I've given you and enforce those rules, it's an explosive amount of data, particularly because you're looking not just at financial control, but spatial control. So what is AI good at, Tucker? AI is very...
Spatial control, movement control.
Yeah, so turn off the car. So Congressman Massey is trying to kill the kill switch in your car. That's because spatial control means I can turn off your car, or I can set it so your money won't work more than a mile from your home or a 15-minute city. So you're not allowed to leave your 15-minute city, and your transportation and your money won't work outside of that area. So let me step back. So what is AI good at? AI is very good at tracking things that can be expressed mathematically. And financial transactions and spatial movement can be expressed mathematically. And so what the AI centers are for primarily is to build that digital control grid and to manage that data. So, and now it can be used for many other purposes too. So it's not just going to be used for control. But to me, that's the primary purpose. And that, if you look at the cameras, if you look at the cell towers, if you look at the satellites, and then the AI, the data centers, those are all component pieces of the local hardware. So there are three sort of pillars that I track. One is the programmable money, and that's what we at Solari are trying to stop. The second is the digital ID, because you need digital ID systems that are interoperable globally, and then the local hardware. And those are sort of the three pillars. And what's interesting is there's phenomenal development of all three. We have a commentary at Solari where we track. It's called the Fast Approaching Digital Control Grid, and every week we update all the things that are being done to build those three pillars and have them integrate with each other. And ever since the inauguration, it's been moving very, very quickly. Now, it's both sides of the uniparty. They come at it in different ways and they do different things. But this is, ultimately what this is doing is this is going to a point where the central bankers, whether they do it with a central bank digital currency or private stable coins and asset tokens, are setting the world up so that they can control your financial transactions literally in real time with the equivalent of a social credit system.
Okay.
Donald Trump continues to...
Salakia. So, like I said before, that's it. Right? Now, let's go back over here to Job chapter 20. What was that? 22. Right? All the hands of the wicked are going to come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Right? He shall flee from the iron weapon, Salakia. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh up out of the body, yep, the glittering sword, which is the ICBM thermonuclear missiles, the arrows found in 2 Ezra chapter 16, verses 13, yep, the glittering sword that cometh up out of his gall, terrors are upon him. Right? It also says the same thing in Jeremiah chapter 51. I think it is. Let's go get it. Jeremiah chapter 51. Right? So like, yeah. Right? There it is. Jeremiah 51 and 11. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon, to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Right? Okay, let's see. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find unto that. Right? There's another one. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord, which destroyest all the earth. I will stretch out mine hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks and make thee a burnt mountain. Right? There it is right here. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 31. One post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that his city is taken at one end. And that's all they've been talking about in the news is either California or New York is going to get hit by Iran, because Donald Trump is threatening Iran to hit their power center as far as destroying their power grid for 90 million people. Well, Iran is talking about doing the same thing to America, but they don't have the fighter missiles that could reach over here. Now, making a contract with China and Russia, they have the weapons. They have access to the weapons. All they have to do is ask for the weapons to come over here and destroy a portion of the land of the Assyrians, as it is written in 2nd Ezra chapter 15. Okay? That's what they can do. They have that ability. Okay, because everybody, like I said before, like I said before in the book of Job, okay, all the hands of the wicked shall come upon him. So all of these individuals that are trying to take the next rulership on the earth have completely forgotten all about us as the Israelites having the next rulership. Completely forgot everything about biblical prophecy. They don't give a shit about prophecy. They care about what's going on. They think about things in a carnal perspective, and that's what's going to be their downfall. As a complete global conglomerate of individuals that are together, that are confederate against the Israelites, waking up to the fact that they are the chosen of the Most High, and only a few of them, of the elect, will be saved. But when they look up in the clouds and they see the Son of Man, they're going to be scared. But they will dare fight against him anyway. Just like it's Ronald Reagan said back in the 1980s. Right? And that the passages are stopped, martial law, and the reeds have been burned with fire, and the men of war are affrighted. Yeah? Are not the men of war affrighted? Okay, are they not forborn to fight? Where's that at? Forborn to fight. I seen that earlier. Hold on, let me see. Forborn to fight. Forborn to fight. It's up here. Salakia. I could just auto type that in, man. I went right past it. It was the one scripture right above it. I'm sorry, Salakia. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might hath failed. They became as women. Now, under the Biden regime, they're saying it's okay for them to be cross-dressers and go to military campaigns and military meetings, okay, with the commander-in-chief wearing a goddamn dress, saying it's okay for them to get sex changes on the taxpayer's dollar, stuff like that. They have burned their dwelling places. Her bars are broken. See, so all of these things are all culminating into the destruction of Babylon the Great, the destruction of all of the regimes of all of these heathen nations that are against the children of Israel. The Most High is going to destroy them, right? Let's see, where was I at? Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 19, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. Okay? And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider. So tanks, cars, bullets, all of this shit ain't going to work, man. We're going to receive spiritual power from the Most High. Okay? We just have to have faith and belief that when we see him, we're going to get those powers. Okay? Because we're going to see him as he is. Everybody else is going to be scared to death. Oh my God, it's an alien from outer space. Right? And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider. And with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. And with thee will I break in pieces man and woman. And with thee will I break in pieces old and young. And with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. And I will break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock. And with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. Okay? And I will render unto Babylon and all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in your sight, in Zion, in your sight, saith the Lord. All right? Now, go over here to Ezekiel chapter 25, and I'm going to close up. Verse 12. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, because Edom has acted against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and has greatly offended, and has incurred grievous guilt by taking revenge on them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, I will also stretch out mine hand against Edom, and I will cut off and destroy man and beast. I will make it desolate from Teman even to Dedan, and they will fall by the sword. Teman are the elite, Dedan are these lower level Joe Six-Pack Edomites into white privilege and white supremacy that actually, these maggots or MAGAites that voted for Agent Orange, right? They are Dedan, right? Verse 14, I will take my vengeance on Edom by the hand of my people Israel. Therefore they will act in Edom in accordance with my anger and my wrath, and they will know and experience my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. The only way we can do that is with spiritual power. See? So, fear not, people. These devils have got guillotines. These devils have got, okay. These devils have got everything, man. Everything's already set up. They want to kill you. Fuck you. They don't give a shit about you. Right? But the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, you know, he's going to help us because he said he would. Right? So, all right, let me see. Right? Thousands of prison camps in the United States fully operational. Why does the government need 30,000 guillotines and over 600 million rounds of hollow point bullets? Okay, 15,000 in Montana and 15,000 are currently stored in Georgia. Right? That's where these guillotines are at. You see? So, some of us are going to lose their life. Okay? Some of us are going to do it, but some of us won't. Okay? So, anyway, all praises to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Yahweh Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for pushing 100% truth who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that have been scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom.